One day, this is CBS, I'm in my cubicle, and my mother calls me. And she says, Michael, you know, your grandfather's 90 years old. And I said, yeah. And she said, he's not going to live forever. Would it be great if before he died, he could turn the TV on and see you doing something that looks like work?
I like your mom.
I mean, devastating, right? Like, Jesus, Mom, it's brutal. So the next day, my cameraman and I and a producer went into the sewers of San Francisco to host an episode of Evening Magazine, because Evening could be hosted anywhere. And I figured, well, you know what? My pop will get a kick out of seeing me host a show from a sewer, because he'd been in a few, and why not? What actually happened formed the basis of a book I wrote a couple years ago, because in the sewer, I realized I was not in charge at all. I was basically baptized in a river of crap. The rats wouldn't let me do the job. Exploding laterals defaced me. Roaches the size of your thumb. It was impossible to work. Oh. So what I wound up doing was helping the sewer inspector replace bricks. That was his job, and he was just down there as a prop for me, really. He was just some guy in the background doing work while I was hosting my show.
Yeah.
You know? And when it became obvious that I wasn't going to be able to host the show in a traditional way, I just started working with the inspector. And the cameraman followed everything. And what wound up going on the air a couple nights later was a segment with Mike in the sewer, with a sewer inspector, replacing rotten bricks. And in the conversation, the completely unscripted conversation I had with the sewer inspector, we learned everything that I had put in my head the night before. We just didn't learn it from me. We learned it from him.
Yeah.
Because he's the expert. This anonymous guy laboring out of sight and out of mind suddenly became the featured player in a conversation / interview with this guy who had been impersonating a host, this former opera singing, barbershop singing, QVC selling guy who suddenly, at 42, is having the first truly authentic moment on TV that I'd ever had. And that footage, well, some people were enraged, right? I mean, it's 7:30 at night. It's the Bay Area. People are sitting down in Marin to enjoy their meatloaf, or
for sure,
maybe a heartwarming story of a three-legged dog overcoming canine kidney failure or something.
Yes.
And they get me crawling through a river of crap, right? I mean, unspeakably filthy conditions, sweating and working. It was not the segment for Evening Magazine. But I got hundreds of letters from people who loved it, not because they enjoyed me necessarily, but people who said, man, if that's what you're going to do, you should meet my brother, my uncle, my cousin, my sister, my mom, my dad, my aunt. Wait till you see what they do. And in that moment, I knew that what we had just done was not being done on TV, and that there was a massive underserved audience, and that there was maybe a chance to take reality TV and let it live up to its name.